Hey guys, it's Ben with Myers Woodshop.
Hey, I'm Peter with RowdyRoman.com.
And we're back with Ortur version 2.
Dose.
Because me and Pete reviewed Ortur version 1. Now we're going to get version 2, hook that up, see what it's like, and see if it's any better than Ortur version 1.
Yeah.
Version 1 was great. It is kicking and rocking. And we are going to come out with a roller video so we can do tumblers and stuff.
Yeah.
So check for that. And I'll put a link over here for it. But let's open version 2 and see if it's as good as version 1 at least.
I hope so.
Let's go. All right, we got a full set of instructions here.
Yep. This one looks like we're going to have to be putting a bunch of stuff together.
A lot more than version 1, it seems.
It does seem that way.
We do have the paintbrush, the black marking pen, and some pieces of wood again, and the little acrylic piece that we lasered before. So, USB stick, or USB cable.
Here's the
laser itself. Does it say what wattage it is? No. No wattage labeled on there, but we'll figure that out.
So it's quite a bit bigger.
Got the cables all nice and wrapped. Safety goggles. And the power and USB chip motherboard part. Power. That's quite a bit smaller, the power brick, I think.
Stepper motor.
Baby stepper motor. Yep.
And metal rail.
2 rails and other 2 rails, and I believe
that's it.
That's it in the box. Yep. All right, so the first thing you want to do is take your longer rails and angle them like this. They do have holes in the sides of these, so make sure that they are horizontal. Take your shorter rails, they'll go like this, because this rail is going to go on here and ride along the longer rails. So we get these little L brackets, and they slide in like so, and then you'll slide it in the opposite way. So you'll take one and you'll angle it in like this.
Ah, there it is. Yep.
And then we'll put a bolt through there. So the bolt itself, you can see, has a longer area here, and the other one is a shorter area. So you got to make sure you put that in correct. So you are going to need a Phillips head. And we are going off their drop box instructions, which are pretty good picture-wise. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So you can see right here, we have a drilled out side and a non-drilled out side. You want to put the head of your bolt through the drilled out side. And once we get those 4 bolts in, you want to tighten up these locking set screws in the corner braces. All right, so we're going to put the Z-axis on. You're going to slip the bottom wheel of the triangle underneath and the top 2 on top. So there's our rail, and we kind of made a little weird car now. So that's the X-axis on there. Now we're going to take the base of the machine. We're going to use these 2. These are your feet. So they are going to be going right down here on all the corners. So we have 3 of those, and then we also have this one, which is the basically the input-output control board here. So that also includes a feet. So, or a foot. So there are 4 feet right here, and we need to install them on all the corners. All right, it's time to put your belts on. You're gonna have the shiny side facing up. So Pete shoved the belt between the pulley and the wheel and stuck it underneath in that groove. So I'm gonna do the same thing on my side and shove it down because we want the teeth of that belt to lock into the motor pulley. All right, so we got the belt hanging off, you can see, on all 4 corners. So you're actually gonna take the feet and you're gonna stick it through the little end. It's got a little slot, and we're gonna be using the bolt that holds the foot on to also hold the belt on. Okay, so we're missing these little washers that'll hold the nuts. We should have installed that first. Doesn't show that in the instructions. We're gonna take off the left side. That'll be just easy enough. So we need 2. So you're gonna slide into. Pete's also gonna slide into. Okay, I got my 2 now. Now Pete can push his the other way and slide his too, and we need that on the other end.
It goes like that, right?
The latter part towards outside. Me. Then once you get those 2 in, we can put these bolts. All right, so we're gonna need 4 washers, maybe only 3. I'll need 2. You'll need 1 in the back on the 1 corner. So we're gonna take our 1 bolt and washer together. We're gonna take our foot, we're gonna stick the belt through it, and we're gonna hold it up on the end. And then we're gonna angle the belt up and put the one with the washer in the very end. And we wanna make sure we leave enough on both ends, and we'll tighten the other end. And this side is the one we're gonna have to worry about first, because you'll have tighten it. Yeah, I'm good, I'm tight.
You have enough?
Yeah, I am all the way through. So we're gonna finish the back end before we tighten them. And that holds our belt tight.
That's pretty tight.
Tightness of the belt is good, that's what we want. And it'll slide back and forth like that. So now we have the last one to worry about. Whoop. Go like that, and that's gonna be with this foot right here. On this end, we're gonna get the last sliding nut. You're gonna put it in like that. If you'll hold that for me for a second. And then we are going to go up through our limit switch with the belt. Then we're gonna lay it down, and then we're gonna take our bolt and go through here and go into the bolt, into the nut we just put out. And actually I'm gonna pull it back like this. I'm gonna pull it towards Pete. He's gonna pull pretty tight. So to tighten this, we're actually gonna just put this end where we want it, and then tighten. Pete's gonna tighten his end, because that'll be easier. Okay, so our back is totally on. It's good with the limit switch. Everything's great. Let me make sure the limit switch hits it. It does. Everything's good. So now Pete is gonna readjust his front one. Do you need me to pull while you tighten?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it this way a little bit. So all we do is have somebody grab this and pull and lift up while the other person tightens that bolt and nut. And that's our tight belts. So there we go. And everything seems to be functioning correctly here. So our final one, final foot is back here. Use the Allen wrench and stick it in that hole to adjust the bolt that slides. And there we are. That is the frame fully assembled. We got the feet. It is really lightweight. It's really nice. And frame is assembled. Now we're gonna mount the X motor. And the X motor is gonna come from the front back into here. And then we have these tiny screws right there. They're gonna mount. All right, this is gonna have the same kind of situation with our belt. So I'm gonna try to shove it up, shove it under, and do something like that. The direction of the motor, we're gonna make sure that your plug is facing the sky, and then we're gonna come in here with our little bolts and screw them on. All right, next up we have the laser mount. we're gonna wanna take off the brown protective film on the acrylic. Okay, so we got the paper off this. We're gonna hold the laser like this. This is the front where it says danger. We're gonna put it on the back, and the top of this will line up with the top of that. And then there'll be 2 holes with 2 screws that mount into here. Then we're just mounting that on the 4 holes that hold the nuts or the wheels on. And then you just take these cap screws. You should only have 4 things left, and they just get tightened on there. All right, so we have our split cable in the center. It kind of has connections, and it's one. So the center connections are gonna go right to here. And then the end connection is probably your easiest. We have one that goes into the laser head itself, and then one into the stepper motor. Then we have 3 connections made right here.
Assuming this one goes right here on the bottom.
This around, I'll turn it so you can see the side. So we have 2 right here, these 2 connections, and then this one is gonna go into our motor. The longer one is the motor mount. Then finally we have 2 more plugs. We have a long one and a short one right here, and then a really tiny one in the center. The tiny one is gonna be the limit switch. That's right here. That's gonna plug in on its own. Then the shorter one is gonna go on the top. And the longer one, which is the motor drivers, that's gonna go down onto the bottom. And we have fully assembled the laser Ortur version 2. Now let's make it work. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug one end of the USB into here. The other end into our computer, and I already have Lightburn. Again, you see me use Lightburn. I'm only gonna show Lightburn because everything else is garbage. So I'm gonna take the power and plug it directly in. And then this end one is the power button.
Gotta hold it.
And you gotta hold it on. And
Ooh, it's close.
that is interesting. We are actually a little too close. We have to adjust our Z limit back this way because the head of the laser is rubbing on this.
It is
by
rubbing?
a tiny bit. So I'm just gonna take I'm gonna pull the power. I'm gonna take the screw. I'm gonna loosen up that just by like a millimeter. And that will make our belt looser. So Pete is gonna have to tighten the belt back there. So you'll have to adjust this little limit switch for whatever you're doing. You just don't want anything to rub against the front rail. All right, so I'm gonna re-plug in our plugs. Hold the power button to turn it on, and we're golden right now. So my computer is right here. I'm going to go to devices, and we're going to find my laser. We'll hit next. It is scanning the USB. It found a garble device, 400 by 430 at COM6. That is correct. We'll hit add device. Is this an X-Carver Shapeoko? No, it's an other. And then our origin is the front left, which is the front left right here. And we want it to auto home every time when we turn it on so it knows where an origin is. We'll hit next, and we'll hit finished. So we now have a device called garble, and if we wanted to, we can edit that. And I'm gonna type in the name of ORTUR2 and hit next. And we'll finish it. So now it says Ortur 2 in the drop down. I will have that option, and you can see my screen kind of got a little smaller. Now let's practice jogging this around. Right now it's at the front left on Lightburn. I am just going to practice kind of moving it around. That moves very smooth.
Yeah, it does.
and has no problem doing any kind of maneuvering whatsoever. Very impressed with that.
It's quiet.
Very quiet. This is a very quiet machine. All right, so let's start burning something. Let's go ahead and move it over here. I think we're gonna count kind of there good for now. And we'll do a square. Do it at 1,000, at 50. We'll hit OK. We're gonna hit frame. No layers in your project. Oh, we'll hit frame. Make sure it's gonna go onto that board. We're gonna scoot the board down a little bit more. And then we're gonna put our glasses on. We got our glasses on. We are ready to shoot fire. So let's hit start. Oh, actually we need to set this as the origin and the finish position. So let's hit start. And that was our test fire.
We did not set the laser to see if it's focused.
We have no idea if it's focused, but we did have some fire. So I need to go in and turn set fire on. So we're gonna try with that. Now we're gonna make a rectangle. We'll go into cuts and we'll change this to 6,000, 50% power. We're gonna frame it. Kind of move our wood to where we think it's gonna go. Let's frame it one more time. All right, and let's hit start.
There it is.
And it fits. So we have our piece right there. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, for...
That went really fast. 6,050. So let's change this one to 5,000 and 50% power. And we'll output the blue. So here is a little slowed down. And that's not bad. Again, we have a perfect square. Let's try doing it even slower. We're gonna cut it in half.
Do 100%.
Let's just keep it at 5,000 and 100%. You're right. Hit start and go. And there is a pretty dark line. So within, I don't know, if we weren't filming 15 minutes, we'd be
Have
cutting.
everything put together.
Everything put together.
Yeah,
Cutting?
first time putting stuff together, probably 20, 25.
20 minutes? Yeah. Try again. We're at 100% power. So we're at 6,000 speed, 100% power, and we are doing a dither of a picture. We are on a folding table, so there is some wobble. And we're finished. That was pretty quick, and it's a pretty good picture of a logo. That was not a vector image, that is an actual JPEG file. So that turned out really nice. For a second try. That's impressive. Let's try Gearbest. And let's frame this out. All right, we're good. And start. All right, we finished. Did a picture. This was my Instagram post today. It's my son's in the center. It's not super high resolution, but Pete's saying we don't have it focused very well, although we have to mess with that. So, but absolutely able to do a picture. And I can tell what that is from far away. All right, so we're gonna try to cut this piece of wood. I don't know if it'll work. It's an 1/8 inch piece of birch. So I just turned it on, it's starting back up. And let me hit fire. And I'll turn fire off, and we're gonna start the job from the current position. And we'll just do a tiny square. We'll do a few passes and see if we can actually cut it out.
You might only be able to go 300 millimeters per second. It's super slow.
Let's do it 100, and we'll do it at, let's do it at 500 millimeters a minute. All right, and we're cutting. You have no layers. Oh.
Holy cow. Good thing you don't have smoke alarms.
And we're down.
You can see through. You can see it through the bottom. Oh no, no, you can't. That's the wrong side.
We're down as far as my fingertip barely goes into that hole. We're gonna try the edge here, where it's half of the.
Do 3 passes.
Let's do
or 2
fire.
passes.
So we'll start right here, and we'll see if we actually cut through. Let me slow it down to 100. We're at 100 millimeters a minute at 100%. I think we might actually be cutting it. Possible. I'm gonna hit stop right there because I cut the edge. Did we cut through it? Yes. We did cut through it. We cut through it with that one. Okay, impressive. All right, so we're gonna scoot it over here.
So you're talking about 16th inch.
That was a 16th inch, yes. Whoops. Let's just hit fire, and it's easier just to move the things. All right, so we're gonna try again. This is an 1/8 inch. We're gonna do it in 2 passes. 100 at 100, and we'll cut 2 passes, see if it cuts through. It may have actually cut through with 1 pass. I think it did.
You think so?
I'm gonna stop it right there. I think we may have cut through.
Wow.
We did cut through 2 sides in 1 pass, 100 at 100. And yeah, I can snap it just about out. I mean, it's not clean, it's real dirty. So let's do it over here. Let's do 2 passes at 200.
2 passes at 200 at 100.
2 passes at 200 at 100, which is way better than I thought it would actually do. That one won't do it?
Uh-uh.
All right, here we go. And start. This is 2 passes at 200 millimeters a second at 100% power. It's 1 pass, it looked real close. I'm gonna try 2 passes. Here's the second pass. It very well might have done it.
You see the flame.
And we're finished. So we'll pull it out. Again, we did go through the sides, but we're not getting full cut along the x-axis. And I can break it out. We were real close.
Yeah.
I mean, we were, I don't know, maybe a 32nd from cutting all the way through the back, but it did cut the sides. So this can cut wood. It can.
Yeah.
I am really impressed. Let's try one more.
Do 3 passes.
At 200 still?
And see if it cuts through that last little bit.
All right, let's try 3 passes.
Maybe by it not being as focused at that, when you start cutting, it'll continue cutting.
And we're doing the same 200 by 200 speed at 100 power. We're just doing at 3 passes. You do not want to cut this where you have a smoke alarm, because it's definitely going off. So the way it's cutting, it's actually cutting, is that with the grain? It'll cut through with the grain, but against the grain, it looks like it's not going all the way through. Yeah. That one, we may have made it through with 3 passes. Let's take a look.
Nope.
Again.
Oh, so close.
We're very close. We got some dotted lines there, and we did not cut all the way through there. But that again is against the grain. So if I break it, you can see we did cut all the way through. And then on the side, we were really close, but didn't quite make it through. So I guess if you have time and speed to kill, dial these numbers in. We actually can cut wood, which is pretty impressive for this laser. All right, so there is actual use of the Ortur Laser 2. Pete brought over Laser 1, that's he's been using, version 1. And here's version 2. You can, just by looking, you see the size difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it is set up a little different with the full square extrusions around the outside. That is way more minimalist. You want to carry it over to a friend's house, so almost put it in your pocket and go. However, one thing we've noticed with this is that if it's moving at high speeds, it'll shake. Jogging all around.
Yep.
So those foot clips that came with it in the earlier video are a must. You have to secure it.
You got to be able to screw it down.
If it's secured to whatever you're doing, works great. And that works great. That has worked great.
No problems.
You're engraving good. Yep. Have you cut anything with it yet?
No, I haven't cut anything with it.
It's basically the same laser that's on this. So if this can cut, that pretty much can.
Sure.
You saw our cut tests. It did cut. It wasn't clean, but it did it, which is pretty impressive.
It might do better with like that paper board or something like that.
Paper or cardboard. This has that full frame with the 4 feet. Again, we're on a folding table, so there's movement. But moving fast, I don't think you're going to have much of an issue with this. I think that solves that. It also is, I think, about 2 times bigger of a cutting area.
Yeah, at least 2 times.
Yeah. And I would say, ironically, that one feels heavier. I don't know if it's just the mass is solid, but try picking that up in the center as opposed to the other.
Oh my goodness, yeah. This one, it's about the same, like when you're hefting, it's about the same, but it like this, though, it's like the weight is all on one side.
Yeah. So smooth, fast, they both work with light burn very well.
Yep.
If you get either of these, use light burn. Version 2 is 270?
270,
270.
At Gearbest, yep.
At Gearbest, version 1 is 280. 180 versus 270. Is it worth the difference?
For me, it's all depends on what you want to do. This is more, yes, it's light and you can move it around, but this, if you want to bolt it on a wall, you could totally do that.
But what's keeping you from bolting this on the wall?
Well, I guess the difference is you could make feet, you know, extenders, you know. But this already has the holes and already has the feet
for it.
in the package that you could just bolt it up on a wall.
That's true. Upside down, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me,
I would go spend
go
the
the
extra
bigger one.
$90. Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
$90 for twice the size of lasering.
Yep.
I definitely think it's a buy if you're going to get into lasering. This is a fantastic first
Yes.
laser. Best laser I have used on anything that isn't outside of $700 to $1,000.
Yeah.
This is like a no-brainer if you want to engrave anything at home. This is akin to like the cheap printers nowadays. Everybody should have a 3D printer at their house, which is what I believe. Everybody should have a laser at their house now too, for $200.
Yeah.
$200,
200,
270, something like that. You have a laser that will engrave pictures. All your friends are going to be asking you to, hey, can you do this real quick for me?
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. So very easy to use. The fact that it works with Lightburn and works really well, and it's basically a simple plug and play with Lightburn, is fantastic.
Yeah.
We were already impressed with version 1. Version 2 didn't let us down either.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
anything else? I mean, putting it together was super simple.
Yeah.
This-
It was super easy. It was just as easy as the version 1.
Yeah. If you weren't filming, I mean, we took a little bit longer. If we weren't filming, it'd probably take you about 15 minutes to put this together and go. The only thing I can say about these lasers, as opposed to like I have a JTech laser on my Onefinity or my big laser, is the laser beam is fully exposed to the world.
Yeah.
And if somebody walks, like I had kids that were about to walk in, I'm screaming, no, no, no. Because as soon as they walk in, naturally you're going to look at the light and you're going to be blinded permanently. So buy yourself a bunch of glasses or make yourself an enclosure with some of that red acrylic that'll stop the wavelength of this laser. So that's kind of the biggest safety downfall, really.
Yeah.
But in use case, I don't see an issue. Everything works exactly the way it should.
I am looking forward to reviewing the Ortur rotary.
Yes, I do have a rotary coming. It does attach to, I believe, version 1 and version 2. So we'll give that a try. You'll unplug the Y-axis and you'll plug that into the rotary, and we'll start to do some circular somethings.
Yeah.
I don't know, some tumblers or something like that. So I'll leave a link to that at the end of my video. And that was about $50, I think.
Yeah,
so
it was $58 at Gearbest.
$58 at Gearbest, which is a really cheap add-on for something to get circles and flat stuff, which is pretty amazing.
The only other thing is we both have gotten a lot of, response asking for a camera mount for this.
Yes, Lightburn has a camera feature where you can have a camera point down and it will show you exactly where it's going to go. I have it on my big laser. It is like it has to happen.
Yeah.
Pete, now that we have both lasers, will you be making a mount for the Lightburn camera?
Yes, I am going to be working on version 1 and version 2. I think I have it figured out because the hard thing with camera is where to mount it and how to do it where it's not going to move. So I think I have it for version 1 and I think I have it for version 2. So it's probably going to take me a week or so to get everything designed and up there. And then
when it's up there, I'll have a link in the description below, and Pete will have it up on its Etsy to where you can mount a camera. It will it'll film down on what is on the whatever you're going to cut, and then on Lightburn you can pinpoint exactly where you want things to burn or cut through. It is, if you buy Lightburn, a camera is a must-have.
Yeah.
So anyways, we did have one thing we can't figure out. If you know what this is, put it down in the comments below. I don't know what this is.
No clue.
It may go on. It kind of seems to fit perfectly on the cables, but we don't know what it is for.
No.
So again, they offer you the black marking pen and a paintbrush. I don't know
why.
They do give you, again, they give you 4 pieces of wood to test cut. They also give you that acrylic piece. And I think the acrylic piece is your height for cutting.
Maybe.
I think. We kind of tested it out. Maybe we're a little too low. But we did kind of test that out.
But this stuff that they give you, that's like 16th inch.
That's a 16th inch plywood. So you could definitely cut through it. For sure. Because we were cutting through that 1/8 inch that we had earlier.
Yep.
All right, that's it for this review. If you like this video, thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you think version 2 is better than version 1 or worth the purchase. A lot of people bought version 1, like a lot after I put that video out. People seem to love it, and it does work great.
Yeah.
Let us know if version 2 is right for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and happy lasering. Real quick.
Carry on my wayward son.
So, that's it for this review.
All right.
Thanks for...
I have nothing
Let's try
else.
again. So, as always...
Not printing.
Not printing.
Happy making.
Happy lasering.
Yeah.
Lasering. Make sure to like and subscribe, and happy lasering. Let's try that again, because I just rubbed myself weird. Make sure...
There you go.
There it is. Dunzo.